Everybody, this is Lady J. Welcome. This show is called Speak Your Truth. Normally, I do Speak Your Truth during the day, and I normally go out and I'm talking to people who are dealing with issues that they really want to get out, and it seems like nobody is listening to them, so they call Lady J, and I come out and I listen to them. So the show is called Speak Your Truth. Tonight, we have a special guest on. We have a frat house here with. And so tonight we're actually going to be talking to Justin. Justin is actually a college student, and to my understanding, colleges are forcing students to get vaccinated. So, I was really interested in this because I do have a son, even though he's graduated from college, but I don't think that I would feel too good about knowing that my son is being forced to get the shot or not go to school. So we want to get a better understanding of what in the world is going on. So thank you, Justin, for being here tonight. And actually, guys, we're going to continue the conversation because hopefully, we can get some other people to come on along with Justin to actually talk about it. And then you may be out in the audience or in radio listening, and you might be for it. You might be saying, they should get vaccinated. So we want to hear from everybody. So anyway, thank you so much, Justin, for coming on tonight. I know Ray is in the background. And you got your other buddies, but like I said, if they want to speak up, it's fine. So tell us exactly what's going on.
Oh yeah. Well, first and foremost, it's a pleasure to be on your show. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
But with everything that's going on in the world, especially with COVID-19, it's been very mind-boggling as to what's been really going on, let alone with this whole vaccine. We already know about the experimentations on the black people when it comes down to Tuskegee. And so I've actually had gathered a few folks that actually go to the college that I attend, and I'm able to generate positive feedback as to how they feel. And a lot of them are against it. A lot of them feel as though why? And if we're so pro-choice on everything, then why can't we be pro-choice on what we think is best for us? Why do we feel that the things that need to be pushed on us should be like, we don't want to be forced to do anything? Mm-hmm. And the reason why I more so have been wanting to be more open with everything and how I feel, and be more vocal in the community, let alone in what we're doing. We're here to restore that when it comes down to the community and people and that we interact with on the daily. We want things to be back to normal, Mm-hmm. And it's just sickening as to what's been really going on around the world.
So let me tell you what I hear. Okay, so I don't like to say the devil's advocate because I don't want to be anything along with him, but I'm just going to be the voices that I hear when I'm out. And so a lot of people are saying that they feel as though getting the vaccine is a plus because, and I have to say this, everybody, because it's not true, that it doesn't keep you from getting COVID. You can still get COVID when you get the vaccine. Right. So they've told us that. But there are a lot of people who are just saying, just get the shot, just get the shot. What is the big deal? In the long run, it's going to benefit you and your college friends if you get the shot. Because getting around all of your friends, you don't know who they've been around. You guys are living in a dormitory. Right. Who knows who has what? So people are feeling like, just stop already, get the shot. So what do you say to that?
Well, let's sit back and let's actually analyze something. Do we know any of the health benefits or the pros and the cons of this? Do you know what they're actually injecting you with? Does it come with the nutrition facts or anything like that? We don't know that. So why would you just jump onto something if you don't even know the background or understand the concepts that play into this? And everything was accelerated. So we don't know if they had missed a step, if they made the recipe right for this vaccine to be appropriate for us. You know, and you might not have heard this, but they don't really talk about it too much. But there were people that had blood clots and heart inflation based on receiving this vaccine. So we have to be cautious as to what's really going on. We actually have to sit back and dissect everything, especially as a family and let alone a community.
And that has come out. I actually read something yesterday where they were talking this article, and it was talking about now they're starting to admit that there are people who've had heart palpitations because of the shot. People have gotten blood clots, but it was also saying that it's not as many as those who have died from it. For me, it's kind of like I don't want to die and I don't want the blood clots or the heart palpitations. So I do understand where you are. And so now with the students, have you all formed like a network, or what are you all doing? Because school is going to be starting soon. So are you all kind of protesting, or what's going on now with you guys?
To add on to what my friend was saying about us not knowing much about this vaccine. Well,
Come on, friend, get in the camera. I can't see you, friend. There you go.
so COVID has existed for years and years, decades out. We still don't know too much about it. But the thing about COVID-19 is it's really only existed since 2019, later that year. And typically, when there's a virus like that, that's causing a big issue. Clinical trials typically takes years, and it takes years before it actually becomes mass produced to the public, to the people. But the thing about this virus is the clinical trials have only started since last year, which doesn't make sense. It needs time, and it's still not even FDA approved. It's still just like a state of. It's still just it's still not something that we know too much of. But going back to what you're asking, me per se, I don't believe in mandating something that we don't know too much about. I don't believe in mandating something as a requirement for us to have an education. It just doesn't seem fair to us. And right now, we're more trying to spread the news out so that more people are aware that there are steps that can be taken. Because, for example, religious exemptions aren't being taken into fact, and typically students aren't allowed to issue for that. So we're more trying to educate people. We're trying to bring people together that they they don't have to be forced to abide by this mandate, that they can fight it, that you don't have to be pushed towards a corner. And that's just something that we're really trying to get out there.
Now, are they really saying that if you don't take the vaccine, that you will not be able to come to school?
Yeah, yes, I can speak towards that.
Okay, everybody, and this is Ray.
Hi.
Ray, come on the camera just a little bit because
Sorry. I'm
okay.
Physiologically deficient here. So I'll just speak a little bit about from what I know. So on April 23rd of this year, the University System of Maryland's chancellor basically declared that any staff, faculty, or students that are on college campuses must be vaccinated for them to come back to on campus. So that was a pretty severe, pretty bold move in some ways, because it is the vaccine is it's the, what do they call, EUA, it's an emergency use authorization. So it's not fully approved by the FDA. There's still a lot of things in the works. I mean, clinical trials, as Emmanuel mentioned, they take years to do, right? You go through different stages of clinical trials. And there's a lot of things that could go wrong. So I think there's a lot of hesitation about it. The route that they were taking previously was like, give scholarships, give lotteries, incentivize people, have public health campaigns to get people to be vaccinated, go out in the community, explain to why people are refusing to get vaccinated, explain to them what are the benefits of the vaccine. That, I think, and nobody's arguing with that. I think people are saying, that is fine. If you want to educate people, people are knowledgeable about the vaccine, let them decide for themselves. The problem that you have here is what you're saying: no school, or no shot, no school. And then for people who work at university campuses, no shot, no work. And then it's a pretty severe move. It's a pretty surprising. And then more recently, there's a friend of ours that has the credits to graduate. You have to apply to graduate at some universities. You have to go on this little website, fill out the forms that you pay your dues at the library and so forth. She's not allowed to apply to graduate simply because of the fact she's not vaccinated.
Wow.
She's already on the way out. She's ready to move out of campus, right? She's been commuting to school, been taking classes online, has all the credits to graduate. They really want to push this on them. And it seems a bit strange. Interestingly, the university system of Maryland, when they had that decree, it did not include community colleges on that. So that is a very interesting thing, because like community folks at BCCC, for example, Baltimore City Community College, at Howard County Community College, a lot of the community colleges, they're commuting back and forth. They are allowed to not get vaccinated, and they can still go to school. And then the other thing that this decree had is that, at some of these campuses, like UMBC, for example, there's folks that commute back and forth, and they're not really on campus. And so they made no idea. They said anybody who is a student, anybody who is a faculty member, even if you teach online classes, you have to get vaccinated. So again, the issue is not so much that people are against the vaccine per se. It's just the manner they're basically saying you have no other choice. Either you want school, you want work, get vaccinated. Otherwise, you're out.
Wow. And so, Ray, what is as you look at this whole thing with the colleges, like what is the feeling that you get from the people higher up in the college campuses? Like, where is this all coming from? And because for one thing, there used to be a time if you had religious beliefs, and something interfered with those beliefs, you didn't have to do it, And so the fact that they're saying they're not even considering religious beliefs, like when you look at all of this, where is it coming from?
Well, I think there's been a chipping away of the idea of religious exemption. So Title VII of the Civil Rights Act it's been the kind of constitutional protection for people who want to get religious exemptions. There's been in the past few years, there's been a lot of chipping away of universities basically saying you can't come to campus, you can't live in the dorms unless you have your meningitis shot. Mm-hmm. People said, well, I have reservations about getting getting the shots for meningitis. They said, well, you can't stay in the dorms. So they did chip away at the idea of religious exemptions, because one of the arguments that people use it to not be vaccinated. The other, and the public health concern is that we need to get folks to we need to have a safe campus. Right. In this case right here, I think it's a little bit different in this, because I think there's it is still an experimental vaccine. It's an emergency use authorization, so it's not entirely a vaccine that we know it's not a vaccine that we has gone through all the clinical trials that any other vaccine would have. Mm-hmm. That's one concern I think that have. I think that the fear that we all had about coronavirus the past year and a half, the lockdowns, everything, I think that really kind of propelled us to basically say we have to be basically draconian in our efforts. We have to be very severe in our efforts to try to halt this disease, even if it means suppressing a freedom that we've always cherished, which is the freedom of religion. Yeah. And so I think the ultimate thing also is like, for folks that say, well, I guess I can't go to the school. Like some I know, like Justin is at Morgan State. Like he's got a scholarship at Morgan State. He can't just pick up his bags and go to another school, right? Say, like Morgan State doesn't want me there, so I'm going to have to go to. Maybe I'll go to Delaware. Mm-hmm. I have a scholarship for Delaware. Right. So it puts a really strong impact on particularly lower income folks, particularly students of color. And I think that really that I think for me bothers me more is the fact that it's highly inconsiderate of the fact that it's a blanket policy that basically put us all in the same category as if we're all living in the dorms, as if everyone is drinking from the same cup and using the same plates and the same spoons.
Right.
None of this is like the case.
Right. And I think people, there are people who are fed up with this because they feel like the government has stepped in and has placed a lot of mandates on us, and everybody's been falling in line. So here we go with another one where if you don't get your shot, then you can't go to school. And it's like, where does it stop? Even in doing this show, they're probably going to block most of the show because we're talking about the vaccine. So, it's crazy, but it is what it is. So, Justin, I want to ask you now. It's coming down to the wire because it's like, do you go like Ray said? You have a scholarship for college. They don't come just like that, So it's coming down to the wire. School is going to be starting soon. So, what are you going to do in terms of making your decision if they say adamantly you have to get this vaccine?
I'm gonna keep showing up. I'm gonna keep fighting. There's no excuses. It's criminal as to what's going on with the school system. And it does a great disservice to the community. If you want it to be, one thing about Morgan State is we want to promote, Black success, right? Minority success. And how you gonna promote success if you're putting harnesses and restraints and restrictions on folk from excelling? There's some people that are actually roses through concrete. Some people that are first generation, like myself. I'm first generation. So for this, and then someone says, "Nah, we're shutting that down." It's like a slap in the face. So what was all this work for?
Right.
I pray that everything is justified and everything is processed properly. But I'm going to keep on showing up. I'm going to keep it. This is the new civil rights movement. If you want to talk about it, it's about your ethnicity. It's about what you believe in now. It's about fighting for what's right.
And the other thing, Justin, when you say you're going to show up, do you mean that you're just going to keep showing up to school? Are you going to just go to school?
Yeah.
And not vaccinated?
Yes. I'm going to keep on going to school. And if people don't feel vaccinated, I'm going to be like, listen, we're going to do what they did down in Arkansas. Like, not keep showing up. They're going to try and beat us. They're going to try and keep on knocking us down, but we're going to keep on showing up. Wow. Through great difficulty, there's opportunity. And with this difficulty that we're having, I'm pretty sure that there's significant opportunity for us to keep on showing up and keep on being great people. It's no doubt that in my mind that we're more than what we are. We're more than conquerors, and God didn't bring us this far to just let us stay here. I don't like this whatever control. I don't like that. I don't like to be controlled. We are independent people. God gave us a voice. He gave us a heart. He gave us our own mind to be able to do these amazing things. But if there are these dark forces coming against us, then that's a problem for me.
What year is this for you in school?
This is my senior year.
Your senior year? Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
oh my goodness.
So how do you think that makes my mom feel?
Listen, I can only imagine because I was on pins and needles all 4 years of my son in school. And he had a scholarship as well. So I'm sitting here listening at you, and I could not imagine being in your parents' position right now. And you know what are you, like 24, 25?
No, I'm 22.
You're 20. Oh, and you're a senior at 22?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So the thing is, I'm like this. I'm this kind of mom. I rock with my son. If my son is like, Mom, I'm not feeling it. I'm like, okay, I'm going to support him all the way. But you do get angry as a parent when you feel like somebody is holding your child back. And I've met you in person, and you're such an awesome young man. And it just bothers me that you've gotten all the way this far, And now there's a possibility that they're saying, okay, no shot, no school. And what about all of the other stuff that you've done thus far to get you to your senior year? And so, is there any way that you would bend a little bit to, finish out the senior year if it really came down to it?
No, if there's pressure, I'm not going to fold.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so, my mom said that, listen, you're going to have to roll with the punches. That's how life is going to be. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and honestly, through everything that I've been through growing up, I mean, how could I just stop here? Being a young kid, born in Baltimore but raised out in Ellicott City. I mean, shoot, what does that tell me? There's great opportunity. Being a civil engineering major at Morgan State, that just means,
Yeah.
I got friends that want to be doctors, lawyers, want to be these well-known physicians and chemists. Like, you're holding us back. Like, we ready to take on the world. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
might be a little bit anxious to do so, but at the same time, we're still ready.
Yeah.
But the hindrances is just killing me, and I can't let that happen. And especially if people don't want to speak up, then I'll speak up for them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind being that guy. Being when I used to play football, I knew how to take a hit.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't know that I knew how to give a hit back. So
Right.
that's what it means. And I don't really care who I have to go to. I don't care how much sleep I lose. I'm gonna show up to the classroom. I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna lose sleep. I don't care. It's tiring. I'm sick and tired of being tired, and I'm pretty sure that a lot of people are sick and tired of being cooped up in the house.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, are you living on campus?
No, unfortunately, I'm not able to live on campus because, it's just better for me financial wise. As a student, you got to keep
Because I know that they were saying the concern was students being in the dorm, but so you're not living on campus now. Have you spoken to anyone at the school higher up? Your dean or somebody, president. Who have you spoken to?
I've reached out to a few folks, and I haven't gotten any responses.
Really?
I've actually spoken to a few people. I've lived on campus 3 years thus far. And I've spoken to some people, and they don't seem to be in control of the matter themselves because they also have to abide by these laws. So it's more state, federal people that we have to kind of reach out to. So even higher up people don't have much of a say in this per se, unless you specifically reach out to the dean or bring that up like all the way to them. So yeah, I've been on campus for the past 3 years. I recently had to drop off campus because I know I will not be getting the.
So you're not going to get the shot either.
I'm not getting the shot.
You're not getting it. Okay. And you're the same as Justin if you're just going to keep going and
Well, the thing is, I'm gonna keep fighting.
yeah, 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 yeah. Wow. I really applaud you guys for doing that, because you have to stand up for what you believe in. And in life, there's always going to be something that we stand up for that people don't agree with. And then you can have people who do agree with you. So, like I tell my son, whatever you feel your calling is, you feel led to do that. Do that. People probably won't agree with what I just said, but that's how I feel. Do that because that's your feeling. That's your right. As a human being, as a man, that's your right to stand up for what you believe in. Now, Jackie wrote a comment. She says, talking about. You guys are here. What was that? Oh, hold on. I'm sorry. My phone just went off. I'm like, who is that talking in here? Okay. So Jackie says, talking about vaccines. If you don't have your other vaccines, like your MMR, your DPT, and polio, they won't let you in the schools until you get them. Vaccines also. So either way, I guess she's saying either way, you have to get them. And she's correct. When you guys were younger, your dad had to take you to get your vaccinations and shots to get to school. But as I was saying to Ray a few minutes ago, there are people that I know whose children have not been vaccinated because of religious reasons. They don't believe in vaccinations, and some of their children have been able to attend school, and some of them haven't. But
Absolutely. Going
yeah,
back to that, actually, there have been people who are able to attend schools and not having to take those vaccines. But even with that, those vaccines that were mentioned have gone through those process, those trials. Whereas this one is just getting started. There's still a lot of things that are unknown about this. Whereas those are being thoroughly researched with years upon years. Even with that, people still don't have to get the vaccine. So it's not entirely true.
hmm and so but your main concern, because I want to make sure I have this right, your main concern is it that you don't feel like it's been enough time for them to
Yeah,
test the vaccine? That's the
absolutely,
main concern you have.
absolutely.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, and I can see that. So we have a few minutes left, and I want to tell everybody who's listening to please share this video because it is super important. Because again, if you don't have children in school, like my son graduated, so I was just glad that I don't have any more money to give him for have to give him any more money for school. So I didn't really care what was going on in the college right now. But then, someone called and made me aware of this. And so I was like, you know what? We really have to talk about it. This is serious. This is really serious. And it's an important conversation to have. So for those of you who don't have any children in school, in college, or whatever, make sure that you share this video and get it out because we need to get this conversation going. And then what we're going to do is for the next couple of weeks, we're going to come back. We're going to revisit the conversation. I'm going to try to reach out to these colleges to see if maybe they'll talk to me. I don't know. Maybe they won't. But, and then come back and we can still have these conversations. If you're a parent and you're dealing with this situation and you want to be a part of the conversation, you can, let me put my number up here. You can actually call this number and you can be a part. Let's see. Where's the number? You can be a part of the conversation next week. You can either come on or you can call in and we can have that conversation with you because, like I said, I didn't know, but I always say that information is power. So, guys, in the last few minutes that we have, what is it that you would like to put out so everybody can understand about this no shot, no school thing?
All right,
Yeah,
you can
I think I'll just make a few comments. I think, again, it's not an argument against vaccines per se. I think people want to paint folks that are against this as anti-vaxxers, that they are completely against science. That's not the issue. I think it's the idea. It's an experimental vaccine that has been created in less than a year. That's still a lot of side effects, and there's a lot of things that I know folks who got the shot, and then 2 days later they're at Hopkins Hospital that have 7 blood clots in their legs and one in their lungs. I mean, I'm not definitely. I mean, that's scary, right? I think so. It's not out of irrational fear. It's not. It's not people trying to be stubborn. People trying to imperil their college degrees, their college careers. It's folks that are really genuinely afraid of the fact that it is an experimental disease, or experimental vaccine. The other thing I have to mention: yesterday or 2 days ago, the Governor Hogan extended the state of emergency. If you look at we're at 1.4 cases per 100,000 people for the state of emergency of new cases for COVID. That's very, very low. And you start thinking, why did he do it? And then you start thinking, oh, wait, the vaccine is under emergency use authorization. No state of emergency, no vaccine. So that is just it. So you start thinking wait, I thought the vaccine was supposed to address this critical emergency. Now the cases are going lower and lower. We're getting to, if the primary public health goal was herd immunity, right? 60-70% of people are vaccinated. We're there. In Howard County, we're there. So, if people are already getting vaccinated, so why why continue pushing it further? And I don't know what the answer is to that, but I do think that, again, I want to push back on the idea that folks might think that, like, you get vaccinated for every other thing. Why not this one? Well, this one is an experimental vaccine. On Tuesday, July 20th, at Home Slice Pizza here in Columbia, it's a free event. It's the kind of funny title is "Jabbing About the COVID Jab." The discussion with certain delegates, health policy advisors, and folks who are legal attorneys who are trying to mount a lawsuit against this, really trying to just speak truth to power. The idea of trying to get folks to be aware of what the issues are, why the concerns are that way, what you can do to fight it legally, and whatever way of possible to get the word out. As Emmanuel mentioned, the administrators at the universities always say, "My hands are tied. I wish I could help you out, but this is from the university." The chancellor of the university system of Maryland, which oversees all the colleges and universities in Maryland, is the one that made this decree on April 23rd with very little input from the colleges. So it's a pretty severe thing, and I think, again, hopefully people will start taking note and they'll start saying, wait, if you want to get people vaccinated, educate them. Give them scholarships, do the lottery, do whatever incentives you want to do to get people to be motivated to get the vaccine. Don't just mandate it on them, because this no shot, no school. It's just not cool. I mean, there's a lot. It also, one last thing I have to mention, Morgan State is just a few miles away from Hopkins Hospital, where Henrietta Lacks did undergo certain things. The stories of Tuskegee, Henrietta Lacks with experimental treatment. There's a lot of distrust of this stuff, particularly for color. A lot of to just ignore that, I think it's very egregious. Extremely, it's just arrogant. I think it's a very arrogant, bold move to basically say, we don't care about your history. We don't care about your concerns. We're just going to force you either no shot, no school.
Right. And I think somebody mentioned that about Tuskegee, because I hear that a lot too. So again, like you said, Ray, a lot of it is education. And that's what it comes down to. So I really feel like if the colleges are going to do this, there needs to be some kind of policy in place as well, where they're going to educate the students and really talk about why they're saying you have to do this. Allow the students, have a forum, allow the students to express how they feel, because I'm sure it's not just, I don't want to just get the shot. A lot of them are afraid. They're afraid. And I personally have had, a couple of people that have passed away from getting a COVID vaccine, so I think we all have that little bit of fear in us because it's new and we don't know what's going on. But the other thing that I'm hoping that does not happen is that it gets to a point where the students get so frustrated that they let the frustration out in another way. And that's why I'm saying I'm hoping that there's a conversation coming up real soon, colleges, if you're listening, that somebody will have a conversation, a forum, a meeting, something where you bring these students together and allow them to ask questions. So, Ray, again, tell us the place where you're going to be at on Tuesday. Everybody, if you want to go out to Columbia, you guys always have great events. Let me just say that I love coming to your events. I really do. So I'm trying to finagle my schedule right now so I can get out there on the 20th. But guys, their events are really nice. And so, Ray, tell us again about the Tuesday night.
Yeah, so the event it's basically a discussion on the mandatory vaccine from the perspective of folks in the General Assembly, of health policy experts, and then folks who are in who are like attorneys that know kind of the legal, the constitutional limits of what can and can't be done. It is they're always fun events. They're always free into the public. We're having it at Home Slice Pizza off of Snowden Parkway. It's really it's free. It's free for entry, but if you want to order drinks and food, it's on you.
Yeah.
But I think most of the events, we have a pretty packed house. A lot of folks are usually pretty interested in this issue. I think a lot of folks will continue to be interested on this issue, just because, again, it ties into the issues of liberty, autonomy, kind of my body, my choice, and the idea of kind of ignoring, and kind of really reshaping of what is our mission here when we try to we say we're going to have a vaccine mandate, what really is our aim for that? Are we trying to get everyone vaccinated? If so, why this measure? Why not do it the traditional, the old-fashioned way of just educating folks? Because it's worked very well too, right? I mean, they've had people be educated about it, and 60% of people are vaccinated. So that's worked out well. So why not continue that? Why force it on people?
Right, exactly. Well, Ray, hopefully you can join us next week. We're going to continue the conversation, everybody, next week at 9 o'clock. We were running a little late tonight with one of our shows, but next week we want to come back at 9 o'clock. Justin, I hope you are going to be back with us next week.
Oh, yeah.
And shout out to you and your friends and everybody for just hanging in there, standing for what you believe in, and for just being upstanding young men. I want to say to everyone, if you're listening and you're at a college, even if you work there, because I didn't know that even the people that work at the colleges, the mandate is upon them as well. I didn't know that. But I hope that someone will speak up and ask if you all can have a conversation, at least with the students, to give the students a chance to vent, to really talk about how they feel, their fears about it, their concerns, because a lot of stuff historically for us, we've had a lot of things happen, as I'm sure other races have. But I think it's good to sit down and talk about it and let everybody express how they feel, so we can understand where all of this is coming from. So, Justin, I wish you well. I didn't get your friend's name.
This is Emmanuel. Hi there.
Emmanuel. I was just calling you friend, but Emmanuel.
Brother right
Thanks for your input. I hope you can join us next week. And if you all want to bring anyone else on, feel free, because we want to continue the conversation. If there's somebody that I can actually, I would love to get the chancellor's information to try to reach out to that person and see if they'll talk to me or answer questions or something, just to find out what's going on. But and then I can bring that back next week so we can talk about it. Also, if you're a parent and your child is facing the same thing and you have some questions or concerns and you'd like to be a part of the show, the number is on the screen. It's 443-297-4753. Please make sure that you give me a call before next week and I'll have you on. Again, asking you to share this video, because I do believe that they're going to block the views because of the conversation, but we're going to try to get it out there anyway. That's why word of mouth is still important, everybody. It's still important. So, guys, thank you so much. Everybody, thank you for joining me. My name is Lady J. This show is called Speak Your Truth, where you get a chance to say how you really feel. I don't tell you you're right. I don't tell you that you're wrong. I just want you to be able to speak your truth and say what you want to say. So we'll see you again next Wednesday at 9 o'clock. We'll be here with Justin. We'll be here with Ray. We'll be here with Emmanuel. And if you want to join us, we'll be here with you too. So, guys, thank you so much. Have a great night and be safe out there. If you want to get the vaccine, get it. If you don't, that's up to you and Jesus. But anyway, y'all have a good night. All right. Take care.
Thank you.
All right.
All right.